On the list, including Prince Harry and Prince Andrew, who are no longer, of course, carrying out official royal duties. Joining us now in the studio to explain more, our royal reporter Cameron Walker, who's been looking at the official announcement as it's made in the Lords, because we had an indication this was going to happen yesterday on Prince Charles's birthday.
Yes, so on Prince Charles's birthday in the House of Lords, a message was read out from His Majesty the King, which said he would be content if the Councillor of State number was increased to include the Earl of Wessex, his brother, and the Princess Royal, his sister, on the list, bringing the number of Councillors of State to 7. Now, it was a very diplomatic way of doing things because he isn't saying that Prince Andrew and Prince Harry have to be removed as Councillors of State, but by adding Princess Anne and Prince Edward, it makes it extremely unlikely that Andrew and Harry would ever be called upon to deputise on his behalf.
And certainly for the Princess Royal, Princess Anne, she has been a lot more visible, shall we say, since the King has taken over the monarchy, and we understand she was actually at the Queen's bedside when Queen Elizabeth passed away. So her profile has risen.
Yes.
But it's important to stress that Andrew and Harry are not being taken off the list. They're not being removed as such.
No, they're not. So Princess Anne is arguably the hardest working royal if you go by the number of engagements she does every year. Princess Anne and Prince Edward are both actually experienced in being Councillors of State, because the only reason they're no longer Councillors of State is because they've moved down the pecking order in terms of number of people in front of them to the throne. In terms of Harry and Andrew, yes, of course, it would be quite controversial, perhaps, if they were removed as Councillors of State.
Well, and difficult, because they're no longer working members of the royal family. That's the other aspect.
Well,
even
exactly.
If they were called in to do that duty, that they're actually not part of that structure as such.
Exactly, and we know that there are feelers out there, at least, that the King and the Queen Consort and the Prince and Princess of Wales will be going abroad on tours next year, which would leave Prince Andrew and Prince Harry being called upon, because you need a couple of Councillors of State to act on the King's behalf. But Prince Harry is in California. He's no longer a working member of the royal family. Prince Andrew clearly is disgraced and not in the best capacity to act on behalf of the country in this way.
What about Princess Beatrice? Because she was on the list at some stage as well, which was people thinking, well, how come she's not actually that senior in terms of the role?
So, under the Regency Acts 1937 and 1953, the Councillors of State are the monarch's spouse and the 4 next in line to the throne over the age of 21, which means it's Prince William, Prince Harry, Prince Andrew and Princess Beatrice.
His eldest child.
His eldest daughter, Prince Andrew's eldest daughter, yes. But she's not a working member of the royal family either. But she's not being removed.
The other aspect to this is we were told that maybe it was going to be a slimmed-down monarchy and therefore maybe not as visible. But this tells us something different, doesn't it? That they are going to be out there. We've seen the royal walkabouts, despite the eggs being thrown, as you saw in York Minster. That it is going to be an engagement with the public in terms of members of the royal family being out there.
Well, questions are definitely being raised about that. Before Her Majesty the Queen passed away, we were very much under the impression that it would be a slimmed-down monarchy. We got a sense of that at the Jubilee by only seeing working members of the royal family on the balcony at Trooping the Colour. However, if you just leave all the royal engagements to the King, Queen Consort, Prince and Princess of Wales, that's a lot of work for them to do.
At the age of 74 as well,
Exactly. So perhaps they have had second thoughts in terms of allowing slightly less senior members of the working royal family sharing the burden. Exactly.
Thank you very much for taking us